Hello and welcome to Bloomberg. Quinn, Dagam and I are here to wrap the markets for you. Well, not a very good day as far as some of our benchmark indices are concerned. If we talk about the Nifty, it saw a sudden fall today at 1 o'clock. So if you can see this, there's this sharp sudden fall that we actually saw coming in around 1:30. So thereafter the Nifty continued to trend a little lower, breaking the 8700 mark. But however, it recovered some of the losses in the last few minutes of trade, ending at 8709. So it held to that 8700 mark. Sensex similarly lost as much as about 282 points as far as when it fell to the lowest point of the day, and that was till 3 p.m. and it was led by heavyweights like ICICI Bank, Infosys and ITC. But Agam, any important cues that you've picked up from the F&O markets?
Just a few. So given we've moved away from the 8800 mark towards the lower side, we have seen more writing in the 8800 call and the 8900 call, as you can see here, and this is the big spike in these two strikes of options that we've seen. Other than that, we haven't really seen too much. But that also brings me to the maximum open interest distribution that continues to remain in the 9000 call on the upside, and we have a little bit more support coming in around the 8600 mark, given the distribution that we've seen in that particular put. But once again, as far as the indices are concerned, we haven't seen too much addition in open interest with respect to the Nifty, but the Bank Nifty has seen about a good 10% addition towards fresh shorts. So that is something that the traders should be concerned about. Other than that, we'll be keeping an eye on the India Volatility Index, which has spiked by as much as nearly 2 to 3%. Of course, this is after the kind of volatility that we've seen in the last 1 hour of trade. But anything that stands out when it comes to losers today, Shraddha?
Agam, the market pair of course was on the negative side, and if I talk about sectors, all the sectors barring the metal index were actually trading in the red zone. So you had realty, PSU banks, media, all of the sectors which has really been doing well in the last week saw some profits being taken off the table. So all the three sectors ended about 1.5% lower. If we talk about the Nifty, what really moved the benchmark index Nifty, well, you had GAIL India, that was the top gainer, up 3.5%. You also had BPCL seeing good 3.5% gains on the back of strong Singapore GRMs or gross refining margins. So good for oil marketing companies. Then you also had Grasim Industries, Reliance Industries, HUL seeing some good 2% sort of gains. On the losing end, you had Bank of Baroda followed by NTPC, Cipla, Z Entertainment, again a stock which has been making fresh highs, and Power Grid Corp. Those are some of the top 5 or 6 losers. So no particular trend, it was more of stock specific movement, but its metal index was the only one which actually stood out today.
Sure. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of the Midcap index and as a lot of these stocks. So we have seen gains in Goodyear India, and this is on account of the big block deal that we saw yesterday. Now Goldman Sachs has bought around 0.5% equity in Goodyear, on account of which we have seen the stock move around up as much as 11%. Talking about some other gainers, we have seen Jayaprakash Power as well gain 11%. Moil and Strider Electric are the other stocks which have gained well over 8.5%, with good gains coming in Rochi Soya, SL Propack and Gujarat Pipavav. Let's also take a look at some of the losers, and that includes Indiabulls Realty declining by as much as 6%, followed by Jindal Steel and Power, which of course we had news in the morning which suggested that they have missed their interest payments on some of their non-convertible debentures. This is followed by weakness in SH Kelkar. Of course, this is after we've seen a good rally in this particular counter. KPR Mills, JM Financial and Reddington India also falling anywhere between 3.5 to 4% in today's day of trade. So weakness is there, but a lot of this is to do with, as you said, counters which have rallied to quite an extent over the past few sessions. So anything we can keep an eye on going to tomorrow?
Agam, when it comes to the IPO updates, you have Endurance Technologies that it was the day 2 for the IPO, and subscription has been at about 42% levels so far. Weak numbers yesterday, about 6 or 9% is the kind of subscription numbers that we have seen till 3 o'clock yesterday. So there has been some pickup there, and earnings, we go into that entire Q2 earnings phase. So if I talk about Goa Carbon, a smaller company, but that rallied on the back of earnings, and you also have South Indian Bank earnings tomorrow. So we did see some little bit of correction in that stock, ended about 1% lower. So earnings is what we are really going to be focusing on now thereafter. But that was all for today. Do tune in to Bloomberg Quint and we will bring you all the earnings updates. We'll see you again at 3:45 p.m. tomorrow.